around you in their realities, but you would
Except
exist
yours.
inside your own reality where you did not die, no matter what. So no matter how many times you did it, you would not die, but everyone around you who lives in the parallel universes that are experiencing this would see you die each time, except for one.
At what point? At what
Except
point do
for
all of you just stop dying?
well, the theory is that you can't. That from your own perspective, you can't actually die. So, so then the only person or thing that really exists is the person who's observing the reality that is currently happening. And so that would mean that, well, from my perspective, I would be the only one, and I would not die, but instead find the cure to immortality, become immortal before I die, and live forever. And if I didn't, then somebody else, then my reality wouldn't actually be a real reality. Or when I did die, instead of dying, I would somehow transfer to a different universe, which still could explain why people have life-threatening experiences multiple times. So it's really hard to.
We lost Jack.
It's really hard to explain how somebody could die from the theory of consciousness being impossible to destroy or create, only transferable.
No,
So
because
one way
no, I get it.
One way
it's the
it
law
could
of
die.
conservation of energy.
Yeah, one way somebody could die from their own perspective is gaining and losing consciousness is very similar to waking and going to sleep. So what could happen is your consciousness could transfer and spread over and dissipate, and it could manifest in a human when all the conditions are set up properly, and then when the human dies, it could dissipate over time by spreading out over the things around it. So that could be an explanation for how our consciousness could how people could die with our consciousness still being maintained with all the energy and whatnot. But that would mean that it would split off into other consciousnesses that are weaker and aren't as conscious as the original whole conscious of the human. Very complicated stuff, but yeah.
So you heard it here, folks. Getting knocked the fuck out is the equivalent of dying.
Temporarily, I guess. Prospectively, I guess.
It's death with benefits. It's death with benefits.
Hey man, when you're sleeping, are you really alive? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I got into it with a buddy of mine, and
I stood still
we
for
were on the
like
same
40
page, but we
minutes
still
almost.
argued.
On my game, I was just
Like we argued
standing still in
about
my
why
shit.
the both of us were right.
Yeah, the thing is that everyone is right from their own perspective. Always.
Yeah.
And when they're
Dude,
found
no,
out to like
we need
listen
to get
to this.
Matt.
Listen to this.
I need to get Matt to play Warframe, and then I need to
Dude,
get
think
him on
about this
a
idea.
down the rabbit hole with us.
Just close your eyes for a second and think about this. Okay, you're always right from your own perspective, and you're never wrong. When you think and to explain this further, you might say, "Oh no, I knew when I was wrong." No, you didn't. You knew when you used to be wrong. You had the idea that I was wrong in the past, and now I am right. You never thought you're wrong currently. You never do think you're wrong currently. You always think you're right at the time. Even if you thought you did something in the past that was wrong, you corrected it by thinking that you're right now. So no matter what, you think you're right. Everyone always thinks they're right about everything.
You're right.
Even when they're wrong, until they think, oh, I was wrong in the past and now I'm right. So they still thought they were right in the present time. It's crazy, dude.
All right.
I make
Did we
connections
get
where
anything?
that
We didn't.
people sometimes just don't see. I wonder if it's because my brain is like borderline schizophrenic. Like, if I wasn't smart, I would probably be schizophrenic because of how my mind operates on the inside. Like,
I think
like,
I'd follow along the same path because I am a high-functioning psychopath.
Yeah, me too. That's exactly what I am.
Go full bore.
Like, I don't have true connections. Like, I got connections to everything, but it's a different kind of connection for me. It's hard to explain it.
Yeah, like I
I
see it
value
as
everything, but at the same time, I'm not attached in the same similar ways. I can be
what
attached, but I
something
have
that has me
a lot
something
of
that has
trouble
me
getting
pissed
attached the same
off.
way.
Something that has me pissed off is thanks to a certain movie, not gonna mention it,
I
Suicide
hate
Squad.
I hate.
I
Mm,
hate fucking movies that portray mental disorders
yeah
incorrectly.
yeah, dude.
Moreover, the one that pisses me off most is anytime anyone's like, "Oh, hey, dude, you okay?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, it's just, having a moment, stare off into space. I'm in my own little world, and I am king." And when you mess with that, I get a little more aggressive than I would like. But as soon as I recognize it, I'm able to pull it back and just go, "Sorry." And then I explain to them, borderline psychopathy. Quite literally,
Yeah, well,
psychopath. High functioning.
there's lots of different labels
Everyone
that I hate.
immediately
Cause the problem
everyone
is that
immediately goes, "Oh, so
everyone's
you
got a
like kill people
personality.
and stuff?"
Oh my god.
And everyone goes, "Oh, like schizophrenia. You said you
I hate
might."
the representation of
Everyone
psychopathy,
says split personality.
sociopathy, and
Sociopathy.
as well as
No,
schizophrenia, because people don't actually, like, that's not actually how it is portrayed like how it's portrayed in Hollywood movies. That's
yeah,
not how it is in real life at all.
it is not. Trust me,
Schizophrenia has to do
I am
with
not
the brain.
overcome with the
Like,
urge to kill every single day.
yeah, yeah, okay,
Maybe
stop for a
once a
second.
week.
Schizophrenia has to do with the brain talking to itself, basically
Yeah, like visual and
interacting.
auditory hallucinations.
Well, what ends up happening is that there's lots of different things with schizophrenia. Like, yeah, that's one of them. That's one of the sections and stuff. But there's also the people who have the part of schizophrenia where it's that the neurons in the brain are starting to gain like a personality of their own and starting to talk to each other, uh, like without the consent almost of the brain, and that's where that comes
Almost like your
from.
consciousness is
But
talking to your subconsciousness.
or yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like
It's definitely not
it
DID.
happens when brains are working too fast, and it happens when
Yeah.
they're firing off more than they basically should be. And I'm like, because of how quickly the traffic in my brain happens, I'm like at a level where I have symptoms that are similar to schizophrenic symptoms, but I don't have any of the symptoms that associate with schizophrenia, like that will be only schizophrenia. So I have things that
Yeah.
are associated with schizophrenia, with ADD, with psychopathy, with high intelligence, but all these things are just traits. They're all just parts.
Yeah.
They're not the whole picture. That's what I hate with labels, is that they try to categorize traits as being like a manifestation of a spirit, kind of. Almost like a psychopath is somebody who would like kill
Yeah.
people and trick people and lie and doesn't feel anything, no remorse, no guilt. All these traits that
No,
add up to
I
being a
will.
psychopath.
I will.
The problem is that
I will
that's
admit
not what
there's
it
a lot
actually
of times.
is. It has to do
I
with
will
your
admit there are
empathy
plenty of
level.
times. There are a lot of times I sit here and I have no guilt, and there are a lot of times I do
Yeah, but
something. I'm just
who
like, yep, that
cares?
happened. I'm
Who
not.
cares? And that's the
But
thing, is
looking
that
back, I
nobody
actually have
cares.
genuine regrets. I have genuine like everyone's like, "Oh, you're a psychopath. What do you care about what you do to people?" I'm sitting there going, "I eventually care
Bro,
about
everyone
something.
is on the
It's not that I
scale of
don't care."
psychopathy on some level. Some people are 0%, some people are 1%, some people are 100%. But the problem is
I'm clocking
everyone's a
in at about an
percentage.
80.
Yeah, like
I'm
everyone's a
clocking in at about an
percentage.
80.
Like, I'm probably only 70 or 60. Like, I care about people. I have empathy. I can feel other people's emotions when they're feeling them. But at the same time, when deep down, I don't care about other people as much as myself. Like, I'm probably self-centered and selfish and greedy and all these other things, but it just makes more logical sense to me, and it's because of my intelligence that I'm more psychopathic. The high intelligence is correlated with psychopathy because they go hand in hand. The more smarter you become, the less you care emotionally, and
the less detached you become from the world.
Yeah, the more detached you become. Like, I'm at a point where I'm like observing and experiencing. I'm no longer I no longer care about some things. Like, certain things I just don't care about. Like, somebody could go through something amazing or something terrible, and either way it doesn't matter. I'm just here to observe. Like, I don't care on an emotional level. I care on an inner informational level. Like, it's just a different way of looking at the world, you know? And and people see it as evil, but really it's just more detached from emotion and more focused on intelligence, you know?
If anything, I think I and you, for the most part, are more fair and balanced.
Exactly. That's what I hate.
We don't have
is
any
people look at
prejudices. We don't have any
psychopaths
bias.
as being evil, but meanwhile most psychopaths who are truly psychopathic because of their intelligence rather than because of a brain problem that they can't feel empathy.
Instead of making a choice on
there's a difference between
instead of making a
people
choice
who can't
on what we
feel
like and
empathy
what we
and people
don't
who
like, though,
can.
we make choices on logic.
Or people who are
We make choices
empathetic
on
and people
logic.
who aren't. So basically, if you're completely not empathetic and you can't feel emotion whatsoever, even though you can understand it, you can't feel it whatsoever, then you're 100% psychopath, and that should be distinguished as something else. It should have another name for it, because other people who are partially psychopathic should not be categorized with people who are 100%, because there's such a big difference. Because people who are like only 80%, you know, even if they see people getting beat up and they don't blink an eye, you know, if you kill their daughter, they're gonna hate you. Why wouldn't they? Like, they have feelings too.
That's why I'm saying I'm clocking in at an 80 now.
Exactly,
like, I used to think maybe I'd be mid-90s, mid to high.
Yeah,
but when I got married, I was like, okay,
60
I care about this person.
Yo, that's why I'm saying 70 or 60, because I hate when people hurt each other. You know, I'm very empathetic in that way, but at the same time, I've seen
I'm the
seen
exact
pain
opposite.
so much.
When people hurt each other, and when people are hurt, the Germans came up with a beautiful word. It is a word that's
I know
one
that
word described as taking pleasure
I
in someone else's
understand
pain.
that.
Thank you,
I
Heather.
remember seeing a video talking about that on YouTube.
Love it.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
hurts themselves, even. And when I used to get in fights in high school,
you know, that's just funny stuff.
when I used to get in fights in high school, though, I didn't matter if I was winning or not. If I was inflicting pain, that's all I wanted. I didn't care if I lost or won. Someone else was hurt, and that's. I'm actually getting excited talking about it. But someone else was hurt, and that's all that mattered to me. But now I've got Heather, and little Artemis is on the way. And those two people are the prime focus. Those two people are the only thing I would honestly be like, oh shit.
It makes
and actually
you can't
feel.
You can't like punch them in the face without feeling your stomach feel pain. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's the thing. That's empathy.
I can't even
think
about it.
So that's empathy.
But that's
right?
the only time I feel it. That is
and
the only time I
think
feel empathy.
this is what everyone learns when they're a child. You know, they hurt somebody on the playground and then they feel bad about it, and they realize that they're not a psychopath.
Shit, no, I fucking did it. Giggled, did it again.
Yeah, but most
fucking
people.
Sadist,
I'm not saying
bro.
Everyone, bro. I'm saying most
I know.
people. But yeah, it's like I can't hurt animals.
But
bringing
it back to the
like dogs and cats.
Bringing it back to the. Yeah, bring it back to the schizophrenic though. Schizophrenic is the brain just popping off at itself.
We gotta end this though.
Sometimes
This
it's
is almost an
audio
hour long.
hallucinations. Oh shit.
Yeah, so
do we need a break?
Or do you want
me to wrap up real quick?
Yeah, I'm just gonna end it. Yo, we went through so many different topics, so we're gonna do
another
episode. So if you guys enjoyed, make sure to check out the next episode. And if you want the raw live stream, check out Devon Rider Archive. That's where we upload all the live streams raw. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and peace out.